Winner, winner, chicken dinner. This is the CIRCOOTER Landturbo Pro. And at first glance, it looks like just another electric scooter. But trust me, this thing punches way above its weight class in price, in value, of course, performance, and features. Here's why. Okay, let's have a little tour around this Landturbo Pro. By the way, if it's not the Pro, just their Landturbo, it's still identical to this. Comes in two different colors, and I consider this kind of, to me, this is the Goldilocks of size. You see, I have a small scooter that we actually take to the horse shows sometimes. It's handy because it's portable. You can throw in the back of any trunk. But the problem is it doesn't have very much range. It's not very comfortable for sure in a lot of like off-road environments in a horse show. Yeah, and it's just very cheap feeling, but it gets the job done. I also have a big scooter, a dual motor. That thing weighs over 100 pounds. You can't take it very many places. It's a very comfortable ride, but it's very big. Now this is slotting in right in the middle. The length of this is 49 inches, which means it'll pretty well fit just sideways in most hatches of any vehicle or SUV, and it has a very easy folding mechanism. Just this one knob there, that's it. Now when you take it out of the box, all you have to do is put that knob in and attach the handlebars, and it uses regular handlebars. So if you want to change the handlebars out, you can. But look at this thing. So underneath this deck here, you get a 48 volt 15.6 amp hour lithium battery. Now this thing has some amazing range, 55 kilometers or 35 miles of range. You also have standard dual suspension in front and back. And one of my kind of go-tos, must-haves on scooters is I love disc brakes. They're just, you know, that much better in response. These are discs here. They are cable driven. They are not hydraulic like on my larger scooter, but that scooter is a lot heavier and a lot more expensive. So this will keep the cost down a little bit, but you still get the benefit of the disc brake on there. Lighting wise, we have a headlight. You can see it lights up on the side. It changes colors. We have our tail light. It's just blinking right now because of the shutter speed of the camera. But if I go and make it solid just by hitting that brake, it's going to come on. And we even have signal lights on here, and you even get a beeping sound, so that way you will not forget that your signal light is on. Just at the front of the deck here, you will find your charge port. It is covered, so it'll help keep some dust away. And this will charge itself up between 7 and 8 hours with the charger that's included with it. Now this is going to be very welcome for our horse shows that we go to, because the areas in these arenas are usually very dirty, kind of muddy sometimes if there's rain. This is equipped with 10-inch air-filled tires, and they have a decent knobby design to them. There's going to be a compromise in road handling and noise, but you know what? If you do a little bit of both, this is going to be a nice addition. Here's something that you don't see all the time on electric scooters, is an adjustable neck. So if we loosen this off, there is a safety, so you have to loosen this off and press the detent, up it comes, snaps in place, and then you can go and give it a little bit more, tighten if you want, and cinch that up nice and tight and sturdy. Okay, now having a look at the cockpit, you'll see we have an IPX5 display on here. This actually has a lot of information. You have a trip odometer, of course you have your speedometer, your different modes, I was going to say fuel, but you actually have your battery level on there as well. And cables are nicely tucked and tidy. We have a manual bell on here, but also this has got an electronic, I'm going to say a horn, and it's one of the loudest that we've tested on our scooters. Listen to this. Like, people will definitely know you're coming or get out of the way on that. I would use that sparingly for sure. And we have our levers, and this is a thumb knob for your throttle on this, but you're very tidy on here. Now on our controller we have our light, we have our on and off power. We have, if you want to actually change your units, and our horn, of course, and then we have our mode. So we have walking mode, we have eco mode, we have race mode, and we have sport mode. And that's just going to vary the different top speeds on this. And this one will go a little bit faster than the regular non-pro version. And we're gonna get to that after we suit up. Okay, we are all suited up. Now let's talk about, there's 4 different drive modes on this Landturbo Pro. We are in a mode called walking mode, and I think this is a great mode. So essentially, this will limit the speed. So if maybe you're in an area where you can't ride, or maybe you're just walking with some friends, and there's a hill and you don't want to push your scooter, you can just go in walking mode and just use that thumb throttle. Now, just be aware, this walking mode actually goes fairly quick. It actually goes 12 miles per hour. That's 20 kilometers an hour, which is fairly quick. Right now, we are in walking mode, so you do have to control the throttle a little bit. Now, if we go on to the next one, we go into eco mode. Now, this will go up to 18 miles per hour. The next will be race mode, and race will give you 25 miles an hour. And the last one is sport mode. Now this unleashes all the power, basically max 1250 watts at that rear hub there for 32 miles per hour. That's 52 kilometers an hour. That's pretty quick for the scooter. But being that this is not a super lightweight scooter and it has suspension, it does make a difference having that extra weight. This thing comes in at just under 60 pounds, and this is where weight is your friend, especially when you have suspension. So right now we're going slightly uphill. We got some big bumps there, wow. And we are hitting 48 kilometers an hour, okay? That's plenty quick for sure. And once again, the suspension really does make a difference. Now we have ridden this off-road as well on big gravel trails and things like that, and it has handled very, very well. One thing to be aware of as well, though, the suspension is not adjustable, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's not something that you would expect in this price range. It's amazing that it does have dual suspension to begin with, but if it were adjustable, it'd be nice. You know, if you're a little lighter rider, you'd be able to go and basically soften it up a little bit, give you a little bit more of a plush ride. For my frame, I'm about just about 180 pounds. It's pretty decent for me, that's for sure, no problem there. But yeah, if you're a lighter rider, I like to have a little adjustability right there. But yeah, the pickup is very good. Now I'm gonna try out the brakes here. All right, that was quick. All right, so now we are going to do a standing start, okay, in our sport mode, and just see. And 3, 2, 1, here we go. There we go, that's 15 kilometers an hour. This will do 0 to 15 all day long in basically under 3 seconds. So very, very responsive in that respect. Now, no, there are a few things that you can change on here right out of the box, and there's not a lot, but one is whether it takes off right away or you have to roll it first. That's basically a 0 start or a rolling start. The next thing is cruise control, and cruise control is defaulted to on, which is very odd. I wish that they would actually default as off, because not everybody wants cruise control, and it's actually can be a little bit daunting if you're not used to it. Essentially, if we could be at max speed, and if we held it there for a few seconds, it'll just go into cruise control where you don't have to even use your thumb at all, and yeah, you're just basically on cruise control. To disable it, all you have to do is hit the brakes. It's no big deal, very, very quick. But yeah, you can go in and turn that off. By all means, you can do that. So here we go again. We are not on the uphill here. There we go, there's 52. Now I've chosen this path for a reason, because you kind of go level and then you go downhill, but guess what? What goes down has to come up. And it's a fairly steep hill, and I'm not sure if this will handle it. This is capable of doing 30-degree slopes. And of course, it's all going to depend on how long the slope is, as well as how heavy the rider is on here. And so, yeah, I'm not a light rider, but hey, we're gonna give it a shot. Now let's talk about range. Okay, this will do up to 52 kilometers of range. That's 32 miles. It's the same, essentially the same as what the top speed is on here. And so that's pretty good. Now that is rated for if you were a 70 kilogram rider doing like 15 kilometers an hour, okay? Essentially you're in like eco mode, and that's how you're gonna get that type of those numbers. If you are in sport mode and you're a heavier rider like me and you're doing these hills, you are not going to get that at all. But that is the same on any scooter or even any car when they talk about mileage. That is like the best case scenario. I also want to mention that we have the dual mechanical disc brakes on here, but there is also electronic braking that happens as well. So if you, for the basically the first 10% of your lever when you pull, you can kind of even hear it. There's kind of like a low vibration, and that is electronic braking, and that's actually not using the friction brakes on the scooter at all, and that's also common. You cannot control that portion at all. So what do I like about the Landturbo Pro? Well, as I mentioned, this thing punches way above its price category. If you're looking at scooters in the sub $1,000 range, it's pretty hard to find one that will give you 1250 watts, first of all, dual suspension, dual disc brakes, a top speed of 32 miles per hour, that's 52 kilometers an hour, also the same type of range, over 50 kilometers of range in ideal conditions, of course. And you know, in a size that, first of all, as I mentioned, works for soaking up the bumps better with the extra weight being 60 pounds, as well as being able to transport it. So it basically ticks all the boxes. Could it be more powerful, more comfortable? Yes. Hey, I have that in my larger full-size scooter. But as I said, that has limitations because it's so big, you don't actually carry it everywhere because it won't even fit in some cars. So that is a limitation. This is like the Goldilocks of scooters, especially in my lineup for sure. This is definitely going to be my go-to for an everyday scooter. It really is. The other one's extreme, the other one's a little bit too lightweight. This is just right in between. So we just went up that hill that we talked about, zero issue, and I'm actually glad. You probably didn't even notice that we were actually going up a hill, but is there anything that I don't like about this scooter? Not really. I can mention some small things, but there are really not any knocks on the scooter. We already mentioned that the suspension is not adjustable, and also the brakes, the disc brakes are not hydraulic, but that's totally acceptable on this class of scooter, absolutely. And once again, that saves money, and it also saves weight and complexity of the unit, and I'm good with that. The only other thing that I kind of wish that they would do is if there was a way to actually either lessen the volume or turn off the beeps for this system, because when you actually hit it, just listen. Every time you cycle through, it's going to do those double beeps, and it's frankly kind of annoying. So yeah, maybe I'll figure out a way how to disable that. But other than that, yeah, if you are looking for a scooter that has more comfort and more power for your everyday ride, maybe you're doing, you know, deliveries or something, and you want something that's more capable, but that's not going to be too heavy, have a look at this Landturbo Pro. We mentioned at the beginning there is also the Landturbo, which is not the Pro, and hey, they look identical, and the only difference that you're going to find on those is the battery size of this one is bigger, which gives you that extra range, about 10 kilometers more range, and also you have more peak power for that 1,000-watt rear hub motor. So 1,250 up from 1,000. So that's going to give you the higher top speed. So that's about it. So if you are good with a little less range, maybe you're just a real recreational rider, you don't need that much range, and you want to save about $100, go for the regular Landturbo. But for me, I'm always going to go for more speed for sure. But yeah, that's it for today's review. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next Everyday Review. Ciao. Like always, if you enjoyed this video or any content on the channel, I have a lot of videos and not just automotive. We have tech, outdoor equipment, including robotic lawnmowers and snow blowers, and even travel, so something for everyone. I would really appreciate if you hit that like and subscribe button. It's completely free, and it allows me to continue creating more content like this for you. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye.